The green flag is out, and it's time to learn everything IMSA. The premier endurance sports car racing championship in North America features the bravest drivers and the most famous automotive brands tackling the continent's toughest races. Today on IMSA, The Road to Racing, we learn everything IMSA sports car racing from the biggest names in the garage area. So, fasten your seatbelts because it's time to go sports car racing. Born in October of 1969, IMSA, the International Motorsports Association, has come a very long way in the last 50 years. And today, IMSA is the top level of endurance sports car racing in North America. The International Motorsports Association was created by John Bishop, a former executive director of the SCCA, and Bill France Sr., who 20 years earlier had founded NASCAR. Together, these two racers wanted for road racing what NASCAR enjoyed in the United States: structure and success. After giving Bishop sole control of their new organization, France financed the majority of IMSA and owned 75% of the stock, with Bishop owning the remaining 25%. The Articles of Incorporation for IMSA were filed in Connecticut on June 23, 1969. After a season of organizing single-seater Formula Car races, Bishop began the 1971 season by introducing Grand Touring Cars endurance racing in North America. Thanks to the sponsorship from Camel Cigarettes and BF Goodrich Tires, events began to gain momentum. And by 1973, IMSA became accredited by the FIA and sanctioned the 12 Hours of Sebring for the first time. In 2012, after owning the American Le Mans Series for 14 years, Don Panos sold the Braselton, Georgia-based ALMS to Grand Am Road Racing and helped organize a merger between the ALMS and the Rolex Sports Car Series. In 2013, the Unified Series was announced as the Tudor United Sports Car Championship. The announcement also confirmed that IMSA would be managing and sanctioning the new Unified Series. Today, IMSA is the sanctioning body of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, the premier sports car racing series in North America, which resulted from the merger of Grand Am Road Racing and Don Panos' The American Le Mans Series. IMSA features the involvement of 19 manufacturers, including Acura, Alfa Romeo, AMG Mercedes, Aston Martin, Audi, BMW, Cadillac, Chevrolet, Ferrari, Ford, Honda, Hyundai, Lamborghini, Lexus, Mazda, McLaren, Nissan, and Porsche. The series visits iconic racetracks such as the Daytona International Speedway, Sebring International Raceway, Watkins Glen International, and Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Other venues include street circuits in Long Beach, California, as well as Detroit, Michigan. The series visits all of the classic road courses in North America, including the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Lime Rock Park, Road America, Virginia International Raceway, and WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. IMSA, a company within the NASCAR family, is the exclusive strategic partner in North America with the ACO. The Automobile Club de l'Ouest, which operates the 24 Hours of Le Mans as a part of the FIA World Endurance Championship. This partnership between IMSA and the ACO enables selected IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship competitors to earn automatic entries into the prestigious 24 Hours of Le Mans.
My first introduction to IMSA was when I was a 9-year-old boy up in Chicago in the snow, watching highlights, updates from the Rolex 24 at Daytona. And I had a couple dreams. I always dreamed of working for Mazda, but the other dream was to be part of the action. You know, I was a little boy on the other side of the fence. And to now have both dreams in life come true, first Mazda, and now to be in a leadership role at IMSA is unbelievably personally.
Stepping into the role some may say he was born for, longtime supporter of anything and everything motorsports, John Doonan left his position atop Mazda Motorsports to lead IMSA into their next 50 years. The man who has been responsible for helping hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals in motorsports achieve their dreams is now the president of the International Motorsports Association.
IMSA, to me, has always been a family. From the officials, from the time you walk into registration, to tech, to the operations, to all the workers, the staff, and they have welcomed me with open arms. So I always want to carry on with that family feel. At the same time, we have a lot of work to do as an organization. 50 years of amazing history, but now we want to write the next 50 years. And with that comes the need to identify our next generation of audience. We need to identify the younger people, the ones that were like me on the other side of the fence, wanting to be part of the action, wanting to understand endurance sports car racing, IMSA style. And it's our responsibility for the sport to help grow it. It's a responsibility that we have to help our manufacturers connect with that younger audience. It's our responsibility for Michelin and WeatherTech to be able to connect with that younger audience. And through a platform like NBC and a major television partner, I think we'll be able to do that. But we need to get that younger audience to our events. We need to get them engaged with our product, which is the best sports car racing around the world.
The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is the top level of sports car competition in North America. Premier manufacturers and world-class drivers come here to compete for the top spot on the podium. Two styles of cars, prototype and grand touring, make up the series' four classes. DPI, the fastest and most technologically advanced sports cars in North America. The Daytona Prototype International is specifically designed and engineered for the racetrack. DPI cars use chassis built to international specifications, powered by engines from mainstream automotive manufacturers like Acura, Cadillac, Mazda, and Nissan. In addition, DPI bodywork includes styling cues that align with these engine manufacturers. LMP2. The Le Mans Prototype 2 is a closed cockpit car developed by 4 approved constructors. In addition to the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, LMP2 cars are eligible to compete in other global series, such as the FIA World Endurance Championship, which includes the prestigious 24 Hours of Le Mans. GT Le Mans. Utilizing the same technical regulations as the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the GT LM cars are the most elite and fastest GT cars on the track. Based on production models, they are engineered to extract the maximum performance possible. The class serves as a true proving ground for leading manufacturers such as BMW, Corvette, Ferrari, Ford, and Porsche. GTD. The GT Daytona cars incorporate enhanced technology and utilize the global FIA GT3 specification. The GTD class consists of cars from leading manufacturers such as Acura, Audi, BMW, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Lexus, Mercedes-AMG, and Porsche. These 4 classes competing together make the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship the most diverse and competitive sports car racing on the planet.
We've all been there, seeing our favorite sports car drive by us on the road and daydreaming about the adrenaline rush from letting loose in that sports car out on the racetrack. Well, at IMSA, that daydream is a reality. The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is the premier endurance sports car racing championship in North America. The action on track is unpredictable lap after lap, and the drivers and their teams exhaust themselves in pursuit of speed and perfection. IMSA racing is truly unlike any other form of motorsport in the world, and it all starts with the heart and soul of endurance sports car racing, and that is multiple classes. Every single IMSA race is comprised of multiple races taking place simultaneously out on the track all at once. Just like iconic marathons run around the world, while there is one car and one team that sees the checkered flag wave first, there are multiple winners in each race. The classes that make up the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship are led by the DPI category. DPI stands for Daytona Prototype International, and the cars are the true definition of the word prototype. DPI teams are supported by the auto manufacturer that they represent out on track. The cars are made up of multiple professional caliber drivers. Cranking out around 600 horsepower, the DPI machines are capable of reaching speeds in excess of 200 miles an hour and are the most technologically advanced sports cars racing today in North America. Sharing the prototype name, but not as many advances in technology, are the LMP2 cars. These machines may look different on the outside, but all LMP2 race cars share the same chassis and engine specifications while being piloted by a mixture of professional and amateur drivers. The GT category in IMSA is made up of GTLM and the GTD classes. GTLM, or GT Le Mans, is the American version of the premier GT class that races at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in France and is known as the top level of Grand Touring racing here in North America. Just like DPI, teams in GT Le Mans receive full factory support of the auto manufacturer that they represent out on track. GT Daytona cars are a bit slower than their GTLM sister cars, as these race cars are the closest version of that street car you saw flying by on the highway. GT Daytona is populated by non-factory supported customer teams that have semi-professional drivers with a deep burning need for sports car racing. All of these different race cars are a true testament to the technology that is growing and thriving in IMSA WeatherTech sports car competition, the ultimate testing ground for the world's greatest sports cars. While the cars of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship may be the stars, they don't get very far without the immensely talented men and women who pilot them all season long. Drivers in IMSA competition have the ultimate task on their hands every weekend, racing their competition in their respective class, while also negotiating America's toughest racetracks with drivers and cars that they are not directly competing against. As is the spirit of multi-class sports car racing, there is more going on out on the track any given lap at an IMSA race than any other kind of racing in the world. Drivers also must be versed in piloting their race car in absolutely any weather conditions. Sunshine and clear skies are nice, but IMSA races run rain or shine, dark or bright. Drivers must be able to squeeze every drop of performance from their machine at the continent's most infamous race courses. And perhaps the most unique part of IMSA sports car racing is the fact that a car is shared amongst a team of drivers. Core teams of 2 drivers are assigned to a car for the entirety of the season, with more drivers being added for the longer endurance races that take place inside of the regular season. Whether it's how the car is set up by the engineers in the garage before it ever hits the track, to how the seat fits inside the race car, drivers must compromise constantly to achieve the ultimate goal of being the fastest every single session. And while the best combinations of drivers make this tightrope of sharing a race car amongst different drivers look easy, they'll all be the first to admit to you that it's very, very difficult. And just how do these world-class drivers share their race car, with only one steering wheel and one set of pedals? Live driver changes in the middle of the race are a highlight of any IMSA weekend. Not only do IMSA crew members service the race car by replacing the Michelin tires and refilling it with VP racing fuel during pit stops, the drivers also rotate in and out of the car. This is an incredibly intense, pressure-packed, and important part of every single IMSA race event. Seconds lost in the pit box getting one driver out and a new driver into the car can mean hundreds, if not thousands of feet lost to the competition out on the racetrack. Engineers, mechanics, and drivers all spend hundreds of hours each season practicing driver exchanges in order to perfect them once the race begins. It is easily one of the most unique things to watch in all of racing, and it's even more jaw-dropping when done perfectly. And don't forget the endurance part of endurance sports car racing. The 4 crown jewel events of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship keep drivers locked into battle for 6 hours at Watkins Glen International, 10 hours at the season-ending Motul Petit Le Mans, 12 hours on the brutally bumpy corners of Sebring, and for 24 hours on the biggest venue IMSA visits each year, the Daytona International Speedway. The drivers of IMSA are a rare breed who must be all things: fast and aggressive, but smart and patient. They have to be able to see in the dark, race on water, and find a way to make their car feel perfect for their co-drivers and themselves. IMSA drivers are what make IMSA racing so special. Every great moment needs an equally impressive backdrop. The racetracks that play host to IMSA racing every year are those perfect backdrops to the exciting racing. Each year, IMSA WeatherTech teams crisscross North America on their 12-race-long season, with each race being held at a different track. The Daytona International Speedway hosts the season opener, as well as the sport's biggest race, the Rolex 24 at Daytona. It's no surprise that the world's center of racing plays host not only to the first race, the longest race, and the most sought-after race on the IMSA schedule. The 3.5-mile-long course is made up half by the high-banked oval and the tight and twisty road course in the speedway's interior. Drivers rave about the seemingly simple speedway's tough technical sections, as well as the fact that it's their Super Bowl and the longest race of each season. In other words, a lot happens at Daytona, and it happens fast. Also located in the state of Florida, but south of Daytona Beach and in the middle of the state, is America's oldest endurance sports car racing track, Sebring International Raceway. Tucked away in the rural and very small town of Sebring, Florida, the race is described by fans only as a party, while the track is described by drivers only as bumpy. Very, very bumpy. And it seems that as the years wear on, the old airbase turned racetrack just gets rougher and rougher, but the drivers wouldn't have it any other way. And when you ask them after they get out after a 12-hour race, they'll tell you it feels much longer than 12 hours. At over 60 years old, Watkins Glen International is both a driver and a fan favorite in IMSA competition. The legendary racetrack has hosted races for everything from Formula One to NASCAR to IndyCar. The blindingly fast road course is built on the natural lay of the land in upstate New York. Drivers and engineers are faced with the challenge every single session of wanting the straight line speed or getting the handling in the very fast and very narrow corners at the Glen. WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca has been sports car racing's home on the west coast of the United States for decades. The 2.2-mile-long road course exists today in what is now a dried-out lake bed on the Monterey Peninsula in California. And while the racetrack is made up of 11 different corners and several straightaways, there's really only one corner that everyone in racing comes to Laguna Seca to see. The corkscrew is easily the most unique corner in North America racing, and some will argue in the world. A blind turn-in point at the top of the track makes the sky the last thing drivers see before quickly turning left and descending down a near 6-story drop that spits them out only seconds later, but hundreds of feet from where they began. The series finale each year is held at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. The Motul Petit Le Mans is a coveted trophy in endurance sports car racing, as the 10-hour classic pays homage to the greatest sports car race in the world, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Located in the heart of Georgia, Road Atlanta is a fast, flowing, and beautiful 12-turn road course that plays the perfect host to the season finale each and every year. Drivers and teams know that the championship is not truly theirs until the checkered flag flies and the 10-hour test is complete at Road Atlanta. Throw-in stops at Long Beach, Mid-Ohio, Detroit, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Lime Rock Park, Road America, and Virginia International Raceway and it's easy to see why the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship is the ultimate schedule in endurance sports car racing. An IMSA race weekend is a true motorsports experience. There is so much going on each lap of every race. And whether you're watching on your TV, laptop, tablet, smartphone, or you're at the track in person, here's how to keep up on everything going on once the green flag flies. And now, thanks to the LED leader light scoring system, you can know which car is in which position in their respective class. This new technology helps fans decode what is going on in each of the different classes racing on track by displaying their position the car is running in within its own class. And it does this with the help of different colored lights for each of the categories racing. DPI cars show their position in class with white LED lights on the sides of the car. LMP2 cars' positions are displayed with a blue colored light. GTLM cars' positions are lit up in red, and GT Daytona cars' positions are displayed with a green LED number. Also important to keeping track of things during a race is understanding the flags displayed by race officials. The green flag is the one racers live for. It signifies the start of the race and the start of the action. Whether it's a 100-minute long street race or a 24-hour trip around Daytona, green means go. A waving single yellow flag in an individual corner alerts the drivers to a dangerous situation in that specific area of the racetrack, while a double yellow flag displayed at the starter stand indicates a full course caution, which by rule requires all drivers to slow down, pack up, and follow the pace car. Due to multiple classes of cars, all with varying speeds, officials use the blue flag as a warning to drivers that faster traffic is approaching from behind and to be courteous to the oncoming traffic. And of course, the one flag every crew member and every driver races all day long to see is the checkered flag, waving high above the start-finish line. And while just getting to the checkered flag is an achievement, every driver wants to be the first to see it fly, making them the winner that day. As the season builds towards crowning a year-end champion, those champions are decided by accumulating points all season long. Drivers are rewarded points based on their performance each race that go towards the driver's title. But teams and the manufacturers themselves are also competing all season long for points towards their own year-end championship titles and awards. Of course, the best way to experience any part of an IMSA race weekend is by being there in person. IMSA fans are given unparalleled access at every single race weekend, from dozens of different spectating locations around the tracks, to pit area and pre-race starting grid access. Fans at IMSA races get a year's worth of memories with just one general admission ticket to any one of the series' 12 races. So, what are you waiting for? Get out to the track and let's go sports car racing.
The IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge features sports cars from recognized worldwide manufacturers, consisting of GT4 and TCR homologated vehicles. The Michelin Pilot Challenge has two different classes. Grand Sport. GS cars are SRO GT4 homologated cars. The engines are tuned to produce between 400 and 450 horsepower and can carry speeds in excess of 160 miles per hour. The GS class includes Aston Martin, Audi, BMW, Chevrolet, Ford, McLaren, Mercedes-AMG, and Porsche. Touring car. TCR vehicles are homologated cars as well. Their engines are tuned to produce between 300 and 350 horsepower with speeds in excess of 140 miles per hour. The competition is equalized by adjustments to fuel tank capacities, power, and weight.
The Lamborghini Super Trofeo is a championship organized by Lamborghini Scuderia Corsa and is sanctioned in North America by IMSA. For this championship, all racers pilot the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo EVO. Equipped with a monstrous 5.2-liter V10 capable of generating 620 horsepower. The Super Trofeo is raced on 3 different continents. Contested in Europe, Asia, and North America, the racing reaches worldwide. This year debuts the new format for the championship in the Middle East, which will take place in 2 rounds of 3 races each. The Continental Series have the same event format, 6 double-header race weekends with 50-minute races each time. The Continental Series have the same format, 6 double race weekends of 50 minutes each race on the best circuits in the world before the world finale that decides the Lamborghini Super Trofeo World Champions. The Lamborghini Super Trofeo is another great part of IMSA race weekends. A single model championship series developed by Ferrari for clients who have a passion for racing. The Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli has called the drivers while thrilling Ferrari enthusiasts alike since its inception back in 1993. Bringing the professionalism and pedigree of the iconic Ferrari brand to the racetrack, the challenge runs on the most beautiful and renowned circuits in the world, and it's designed to allow clients to enjoy themselves and their high-end race cars in a competitive and safe environment. The IMSA Prototype Challenge is a multi-class series for both the future stars of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship as well as veteran drivers. Entering its 15th season, the IMSA Prototype Challenge will see 6 races contested on some of North America's most premier road courses. The series will continue to feature the global spec LMP3 prototype, and the endurance format pairs 2 drivers per car fighting it out for the year-end championship trophy. Perhaps IMSA's best-kept secret is the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge USA by Yokohama. The single-make series is made up of 2 categories, the Platinum Cup and the Gold Cup, with a Masters category in the Gold Cup cars. While both classes utilize the same Porsche GT3 Cup machine, the age of the car is what splits the categories. 8 doubleheader race weekends support both IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship events as well as IndyCar Series races. The racing is close and the action is always entertaining in Porsche. Running the same rules and Porsche 911 GT3 Cup cars as its American counterpart, the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge Canada by Yokohama provides the same intense single-make wheel-to-wheel racing action on many of Canada's iconic racing circuits. Drivers both young and old from north of the border compete 5 weekends out of the year visiting tracks in Canada, with 1 stop held in bordering New York State at the world-famous Watkins Glen International Raceway. Well, that's all for IMSA 101 today on IMSA, The Road to Racing. We're glad that you could join us and hope that whether you're a new fan to IMSA sports car racing or a veteran of the sport, that you learned something today. Be sure to keep up with everything IMSA by following and liking IMSA Racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the road.